What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Insecure Season 5, Episode 7, I believe this is. So, you guys, we have 3 more episodes into the series finale of Insecure. So, this episode was titled Chillin', okay? So, overall, this was a good episode. I enjoyed it. I laughed a lot at this episode. There was one scene in particular we gonna talk about that I cracked up laughing at, right? So before we get into the review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and are not yet subscribed to the channel, then I need you guys to do me a big, huge favor and stop taking me on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. Hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on, share the video, and with that out of the way, you guys, without further ado, shall we discuss Insecure? Now this episode, we see as Issa has all the ladies over to her crib. So we have Tiffany, we have Kelly, and we have Molly. So it's going to be a relaxing day for the ladies. They're going to go to the spa. They're going to have a spa day. And then after the spa day, they're going out to dinner, right? So dinner is at 8 o'clock. But before they do that, Issa has pre-rolled some blunts for them that they're going to smoke. Now, Issa gave, who did she give I think it was Tiffany. She gave Tiffany a blunt, and she was like, it's a little bit soggy. And I'm assuming all the blunts were soggy, so there's a blunt for each woman. Issa got a blunt, Molly got a blunt, Kelly got a blunt, and like, my bad, y'all, didn't mean to burp your face, and Tiffany got a blunt. Remember, Tiffany's was soggy, right? This is the scene where I cracked up laughing. So Kelly lit up her blunt, took a puff. They're like, Kelly, you good? I died laughing with Kelly when that girl choked on that blunt. I'm like, Kelly, damn. Okay. So Issa, remember I told you Issa had plans for the ladies, right? For them to go to the spa. Well, Issa got a call that the spa day was canceled because the pipes bursted at the spa. So now they got to figure out what to do. So Issa's like, hey, I know what we can do. So Issa goes into her room. She turns on some music, and it was Diddy and Keisha Cole's Last Night. So they singing to that. They singing to Last Night. So Issa comes out with a hat, and Kelly was like, girl, you still got a subscription to Lids? She's like, yeah, but that ain't what this is. She's like, what I want to do is I want us to play the game of, what was the name? Questions in a Hat. Why did I say questions in a shelf? It's questions in a hat, right? So then we move on from that scene and we go and we see Lawrence. So Lawrence is dropping off the baby to Common Sense, right? And remember, last time we saw Lawrence and Common Sense, they were at the doctor's appointment and things looked good between them. It looked cordial, and remember the time before that, they were arguing like cats and dogs with each other, right? But at this point, he's dropping the baby off. She's like, she missed the baby, and, he's telling him, how he slept with his butt in the air. So things are good between Lawrence and, condoms. So then we move back over to Issa and the girls. So they're, like I said, they're pulling the questions out of the hats. And I know one question was like, it was a question about the last person that they had sex with, and Issa was like, well, with her and Nathan, she don't know where things stand between them because they got into it with each other, and he called her inconsistent. They're like, oh my God, what? No. And Kelly was like, yes, bitch, because I'm like, damn, come on, Kelly. But like we all know, Issa's inconsistent, and Issa is very fickle, if we're being honest. Ooh, I didn't mean to spit. Issa's fickle. Let's keep it real, right? So she says that she doesn't know where they stand, right? So then it's a knock at the door, and it's Trina. So Trina is coming to tell Issa, like, girl, there are spiders in my apartment. We need to fix that. And Issa was like, Trina, I told you before, spiders are very common. She says, but spiders are also poisonous. Like that one right there. I see one right there. So we see that she's talking about Kelly. So Kelly and, Trina are not cool with each other. Now, remember, last season, Kelly and Trina hit it off at the block party, right? But now they not good. So even Tiffany was like, I thought you and her were cool. She was like, she thinks I'm a bad influence on her son, but maybe he's a bad influence on me. I'm like, oh my God, no, Kelly. No. So then we see Molly. So Molly got a phone call and she's like, oh, this is a work phone call. So she goes and takes the phone call and it's Tarian. I'm like, ooh. So things have changed between Miss Molly and Mr. Tarian after that retreat, right? So they gonna listen, they're like, that's not a regular phone call. So they listening to it, and after Molly gets off the phone call, she notices they all looking at her, right? And they were like, so she says, Kelly says, here, there's a question and a half for you. So she pulls it out and it says, are y'all fucking? And she says, no, we're not. She says, we've gotten a little bit closer since the retreat, right? The partners, they approved their their proposal that they had. He calls her, checks on her mother, and he texts her and asks her like what she's doing and stuff like that. I'm like, oh. I'm like, so things are heating up between Miss Molly and Mr. Tarian. Let me know in the conversation what you guys feel about that, because I saw it last week, especially when she gave him that big hug. I'm like, yeah, there's something between Mr. Tarian and Miss Molly. There's something there. Don't know what it is, but there's definitely something there. So you guys, we're gonna move forward. All right, you guys. So next up, let's talk about Colony and Lawrence, right? Now, Colony and Lawrence were sprinkled in this episode. It was good to see, but it was kind of like, why do we need this? But Colony and Lawrence, like I said, she and him are getting along a lot better, which is inevitably going to be better for the baby, right? So we see as, Condiments was trying to feed the baby. I think she was trying to feed him spinach or something like that, right? Whatever it was, she was trying to do the airplane for him to eat it, right? But the baby wasn't eating it. So Lawrence, like, me and him have this little thing that we do where I do a train, chugga chugga choo 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 choo. And so she's like, oh, so it has sound effects. Okay. So he's helping her out, feeding the baby. I'm like, oh, wow. Now this is interesting. So then we move back over to Issa then, right? So Issa has made cookies with Doritos in it, and it's the Coons Ranch. I'm like, it sounds good, but it doesn't sound good at the same time, right? So they're still playing questions in a hat, right? So, I think the question was like, it was kind of a question of like, what was it? Because Issa was talking about the fact that, she wished she knew what she wanted to do before now, right? So kind of a question like, if you could, like a question like if you could tell your past self something or something like that. She just wishes she knew what she wanted to do long before now. Kelly, we know Kelly has given up drinking, right? Kelly has discovered walking. And like, Kelly, girl, we've been trying to get you to come walking with us for years. She says she went walking and gave her clarity, right? And she says that she doesn't want to help rich white men continue to make other rich white men richer. I'm like, amen to that one. Amen to that. So the next question was, if you had to choose, which of your friend's exes would you fuck? Molly said one of Issa's exes that we know nothing about, right? Someone from college. Kelly says, girl, no, that is not who we will fuck. We would fuck Daniel Kaluuya. I was like, hey, at least she's honest. So then Issa tells them about the fact that she ran into Lawrence and, Kama. So when she ran, she ran into them at the hospital, right? So Issa is now starting to feel a little bit guilty about the way that she and Lawrence broke up. Some of them said, she did what she needed to do. I know Molly said that she did what she needed to do, right? And Tiffany has different feelings, because Tiffany asked her, why do you think she made the right decision? And she's like, because, who wants to be, she doesn't want to be a stepmother to the child. Now, I wouldn't go that far, right? I don't know. Do I think Issa made a good decision? Let's think. Do I think Issa made a good decision by breaking up with Lawrence? Not necessarily, I guess you would say, because then that catapulted her over to Nathan, who I don't really want her with, right? So I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I can see both sides of the coin, right? I think Issa made the best decision for herself, right? I think, she realized, I think maybe what I would say is not knowing where Condola called her by name this time, not knowing where Condola and Lauren stood. I think that might have been one thing. Like, she hasn't had the baby yet, right? You're living in San Francisco, so one, we got a long distance relationship. Two, you got a baby on the way with a woman that you don't have any communication with. And then I wouldn't want her to be like, oh, you know, well, he don't talk to me because he's with Issa. So it's kind of it's a really a catch-22, right? Like, I can see all angles. But I think, you know, if Issa had decided to stay with Lawrence, that they could have worked something, you know, they could have figured some things out, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, because let me know if you guys think that Issa made the right decision or if she made a wrong choice, right? Only reason I'm gonna say she made a wrong choice is because it put her with Nathan. I don't have anything against Nathan. I just don't think that Nathan is good for Issa. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think that Nathan is good for Issa at all. And the reason, and I'm gonna specify why I say that, right? Like you said last week, Issa is inconsistent. He's flighty. Those two don't mesh. An inconsistent person mixed with a person that is very flighty, you know, he goes by the seat of his pants kind of person. I just don't see that combination mixing well with each other, because number one, we already see it. They have a lack of communication with each other. So I don't think that they're a good fit. But hey, whatever, right? So then, you know, Kelly was telling Issa about, you know, Simone's birthday party and how when Lawrence and, you know, Common Sense were there, things weren't too good between them. You know, Cell Phone had a issue, you know, Cell Phone and Lawrence were not good. They were arguing the entire time. So I get it. So then, you know, they were getting ready for dinner, right? Remember, dinner was at 8 o'clock. But at this point, it was 7. They started getting ready for dinner. So they gave each other a group hug because they were talking about the last time that they've actually done something like this. And it had been a few months because Issa gave Tiffany a pair of her earrings. By the way, Tiff's like, oh, Issa, for once I like your shoes. I was like, oh my God. Y'all be going in on my girl Issa, right? So while they're hugging, Tiffany lets the cat out the bag that she and Derek might be moving to Denver because Derek got a job opportunity that will potentially move them there, right? So we see the ladies, they're having a conversation about that. And, you know, Tiffany is afraid to move. She doesn't want to be away from them. And then, you know, they talk about how we're going to make this work, like us, you know, spending time with each other, right? And they said, we'll make it work. And when they were hugging in that scene, I was like, oh my God, this is it, you guys. I'm like, we're literally wrapping up. Like, we are wrapping up this show. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe we got 3 more episodes until it's no more Insecure. No more Insecure. So then, I didn't put this in my notes. So then we got another scene. So we're going to move forward, you guys. So we got another scene where it was with Lawrence and Computer, right? So she was folding up the clothes. Lawrence went to help her fold up the clothes, right? And I like in this scene that Lawrence was able to own up to his mistakes, right? And say, you know, the way that I treated you when you were pregnant and even after, I was an asshole and I apologize. So that's why he's being helpful to her. He wants to rectify his wrongdoings, right? And she was like, you know, I don't know if she was saying in that scene that she had contemplated having an abortion when they were not on good terms with each other. And he told her, don't feel bad about that, right? So then, you know, he tells her he wants the best for her and she says vice versa, right? Do you guys think that he's gonna make his way back to Issa before the show wraps up? Let me know in the comment section what you guys think, right? So then we move back over to the ladies, right? So Kelly talking about Daniel done slid in her DMs, and you know, Tiffany looks over and like, you slid in his DMs. She's like, girl, it don't matter. So then we see the ladies, they're talking to Molly, right? So they're telling Molly that Molly should text Torian, right? They're telling her to text him like, you know, we should get together sometime, and you know, outside of work, because I do look a lot different outside of my work. Because I'm like, okay, Alicia Keys, Kelly said, text him, let's fuck. No, Kelly, we're not gonna do that. So, Molly formed a text message, right? She said, what do you guys think about this? They were like, why is Dro calling you? She's like, Dro? Yep, Dro was calling her. She didn't answer. Thank God she didn't answer that phone call. So then, Tiffany and Kelly went back in the house. So it was just Issa and Molly outside, right? So Issa is on the phone and she's calling Lawrence. And Molly's like, why are you calling Lawrence? And she was like, so Issa is thinking about what conversation they had earlier. Did she do the right thing by breaking up with him, right? And Molly was like, look here, Issa, you're drunk. Now, if you want to call him in the morning and when you sober up, that's fine. Do that. But right now, girl, hang up that damn phone. So she does, right? So then the next morning, she wakes up. We see everybody getting ready to leave. So we see Kelly, Tiffany, and Molly leaving, right? So then Issa looks at her phone, and it was a text message from Nathan. Nathan telling Issa to, contact him, when she's free, right? So she calls him up on the phone. So then he tells her, he's been thinking, right? And he loves her too. He just is fearful of saying stuff like that. See, that's what I was just saying a few minutes ago. She's inconsistent. He's flighty, and he's a bit inconsistent as well. He's a bit inconsistent. Like excuse me, I didn't mean to burp. If you knew that you loved Issa, when Issa was, you knew what she was doing the entire time. You knew when y'all were having sex that Issa wanted you to say that you loved her. And even when she had the blow up with you about not saying you loved her after she said it, you could have put her mind at ease at that point. So it's kind of like Nathan is playing a little bit of mind games, and I don't like it, right? But like I said, I don't want Issa with Nathan to begin with. Like, you guys, I just don't want that. But that's the end of the episode. Actually, before that, so when Issa hung up the phone with Nathan, she got a phone call from Lawrence, and she didn't answer the phone call. And that was the end of the episode. And the preview for next week's episode, I just still don't see it for Nathan and Issa. I just don't see it. There's literally, for me, I don't see anything between them. So I don't know where the love word is coming from between Issa and honestly, when it comes to Issa and Nathan, for me with Issa, I believe this is a rebound relationship for Issa. I don't think that Issa loves Nathan. Nathan could possibly love Issa, but I don't believe that Issa loves him. But we'll see what happens in next week's episode. But let me know what you guys thought about the overall episode. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified when I drop anything else. Share the video and until the next one, guys. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next one.